All right, guys, 72 K5 Blazer, Scott, music in motion, video 3, let's go. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is our third installment on our 1972 Chevy K5 Blazer, good old topless copper. So we're going in on this one. In this video, we're going to address all the electronics that we're gonna be exchanging in here. We have new amplifiers going in from Arc Audio. We have a power supply going in here, which is also an intelligent charger and a whole bunch of goodies, extra battery, loads of stuff. So we are gonna be wiring some LED lighting in this, which is gonna be a lot of fun, but wanted to get started on the electronics. So what we're gonna do is we've got the enclosure out of it right now. This is the enclosure that was in the vehicle. It's really nicely built. So it's an all birch enclosure, it's braced, it's actually vented. So we did some math on this, and it looks like the enclosure is right about 4 cubic feet. Plus a little displacement for the port and everything. So gross, it comes out to be about 4 1/4. After everything's said and done, right about 4 cubic feet. So it's tuned a little low, but our woofers love it. And just swapping the woofers, it looks like we're gonna gain about 2 to 3 decibels. So in just a replacement, I'd say that's pretty good. So we are also adding some power, so that's gonna be a blessing, and we'll have a DSP in here. So the ability to tune and adjust whatever's necessary. So, and that we're gonna use to kind of make up for our low tuning on the enclosure. But all in all, it's a win-win. So we're gonna go ahead and get you guys set up in a super fast YouTube mode. It's a Scott special. We're gonna get some woofers swapped on the enclosure, get the enclosure put back in the vehicle, and then we'll start working on our placement for our extra battery, our power supply, and doing some cabling. So without further ado, let's take a ride through our 72. So let's show you what we got going on here. As we move forward with our electronics here, I'll show you what the game plan is. Sorry, had to collapse the GoPro. Okay, so we have our extra battery going back here, and we have our intelligent power supply from Excess Power. We chose this power supply for a couple reasons. This is one of the larger power supplies that we can get. It's a 90 amp power supply. What's cool about this though is with common ground busing in the back, we can actually control 2 battery banks. So we can charge 2 different battery banks at different current levels, different voltages, and we can also maintain, monitor the whole 9, and then in power supply mode, it'll actually utilize both banks. So we do solenoid isolate the batteries just because they are different. They're not exactly the same battery, but they're both AGM. So in that respect, the charger will see them differently, address them differently, and all's happy. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we went to the laser, we printed a We made a little profile for our battery tie down for the battery in the back here, but basically what we're gonna do, let me just show you real quick. So we're just gonna do a profile on the side here. So we have a strap that's gonna go across the chop just to hold it down, and then we're gonna do one that goes across the front. Then we're actually gonna mount it to the box. The mounting on our power supply there, obviously this cable will get out of the way. We'll have some distribution and stuff back here, but we were able to keep it off the floor, which was awesome. So with our downfiring box, I know that's where a lot of it was coming out, and then our port actually comes out that side. So we were actually able to keep the port open on the top side there and keep the floor open on the bottom. So for all the quote coupling, if you would, everything's a go. So we're gonna go into the wood shop, we're gonna make this battery tie down, start doing some cabling in the back, and keep moving with our electronics. Okay, so quickest time lapse ever. But we got our battery tie down made. Let's show you, we got it installed and everything. Before we go any deeper, I wanted to catch up here. So, and just so I don't get beat up in the comments, this bracket was screwed together. You saw the CA glue just to set it up in the wood shop, just to template it before we did all the router work, but we do put some screws in it, so it is a secure tie down. But I don't know if you can see, but we do have it mounted back to the enclosure. Can't really see in there, but there's some mounting hardware that goes back into the enclosure there. And then on the other side, just the same. But at any rate, we're gonna dive into the rest of the electronics here in the back anyway. So we wanted to show you the tie down coming out of the longest time lapse ever. But got that all situated. Now it's gonna be some cabling. So we do have some cables that we ran under the vehicle. We have a power and ground cable that come from the front battery that come to our back battery. Our battery isolator, or our solenoid, is actually going in the rear of the vehicle. We chose to do that just for the ease of wiring it. With our power supply in the back, our charging is gonna be isolated between the banks of batteries, so we can tie it right into the solenoid. All of our fusing will be done at the back. So all in all, I just think it made sense. You know, it's not to clutter everything up front with the amplifiers and everything. So outside of that, we're gonna just be doing some cabling. So like I said, all of our fusing for our power supply and fusing between our batteries and the solenoids and everything will be in the rear. And that's what we're about to do. So going down to Cable Town. So we're gonna set you guys up in a super fast YouTube mode. Yeah, let's get this thing cabled. So we're going in. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a break. I know that had to be a long time lapse. I forgot I was recording. So let's show you where we're at. We, in the time lapse, you watched us not necessarily put all this back together, but that's where we did all of our cabling here. So you can't see anything down under here, but you can kind of see a little bit. So there's our battery, our power supplies under there, solenoid for our battery isolation, the whole shebang, complete. Rear seats put back in. Before we put the rear seat back in, we did get all the air ride components remounted, got everything situated there, made sure everything was nice and clean, put that back together, complete. Came up here in the center console. So we got the top cover of the center console off, and we actually ended up doing a little bit of rework on the console. There were just, I guess just the time of this build, there were some pieces broken back there and stuff, so we went ahead and fixed that and rewrapped it and some things just to clean it up there. I mean, this vehicle is essentially perfect. A couple of minutes to fix a little spot here or there was pennies, you know. I don't know if you can tell, but all of our cabling is cleaned up inside the console here. So we did spend some time cleaning that up. We did a little mess down here we're still working on, but yeah, running. So we didn't get much of this, but we did get some trays mounted for the amplifiers. We stacked a couple of pieces of PVC. We have about 1 inch. We milled it down to get one of the amplifiers to sit at the back, just so it sat under the rail. And then on this side, we have our DSP Ultra from Helix. We have one of our Arc Audio amplifiers. We can come over here on the driver's side. On this side, we did a similar bracket there, and we house our 2 other Arc amplifiers. Talking about the configuration a little bit in this vehicle, the way we did this. So we're running 3 amplifiers in this vehicle. The 3 amplifiers from Arc are going to be the KS 300.2 that we're running on a pair of Arc 12s. Does about 720 watts there. We have a KS 300.4, actually 2 of the KS 300.4s. One of them we're running in a bridged 4-ohm mono stereo environment. That's gonna run the mid-bass drivers, and it's gonna run about 380 watts by 2 at 4 ohm. And then the last KS 300.4 were 120 by 4, and that one's gonna run our 3s in the pillar and our tweeters in the pillar. So all these amplifiers from Arc, these KS amplifiers are amazing. These are what they consider a Class GH or a Class G GH. The Class GGH amplifiers, they're efficiency games. They're pro audio technology that's not commonly used in car. Arc uses it very well. But basically we get a bunch of efficiency, and I mean, a long story short, so GH amplifiers basically work where a normal amplifier like a Class D amplifier is gonna give you a very small footprint and it give you a good amount of power, right? But some of the problem with that is we're set up to run about, I guess 50% of our power, about 10% of the time, waiting on dynamic bursts is how most amplifiers will work. A Class GH amplifier, or Class G technology, or whatever moniker you want to call it, right? But what it'll do is it's basically got some switching inside and different voltage rails. So essentially we're playing on what would be a small footprint, say 400 watt amplifier most of the time. And when we have passages that require headroom for dynamic bursts and just more power, it switches super, super fast to a higher voltage set of rails to facilitate that power. So it's a killer topology that not many people have mastered, and Arc does a really, really killer job with it. So we get the sound quality aspects of what are like a Class AB amplifier, which Class AB is going to be more sound quality than like a Class D amplifier, but we're also getting the efficiency of what are Class D amplifiers. So it's kind of a win-win, right? So it's one of the best options we can use. So sound quality, efficiency, small footprint, and they make killer power. Hey, I don't know what else you need, but so at any rate, we wanted to break up the time lapse, go over some of this with you. I know we don't spend a lot of time talking about configuration, but as we go through some of the setup on the Helix, we may touch on it a little bit. But at this point right now, I'll show you, we're gonna continue some cabling. We do get lost in it a little bit here, but cleaning up all the cabling in the center console is done, obviously. Now we're just gonna get our amplifiers and our DSP cabled. So back to Cable Town. I get lost in this stuff. I love it, but hence the longer time lapse prior to this. But we're gonna go ahead and try to get these amplifiers cabled, get this thing playing, and into the fun stuff. So sorry, back to super fast YouTube mode. So here we go, guys. I know some of that time lapse is a little confusing, man. When we're filming the cabling aspects of things, it's just really, really difficult to get you guys some good shots. So we did the best we can with what we were doing with the cabling under the seats. We did get all the amplifiers cabled. We got the DSP cabled, our lighting modules back in, so we've got life. At this point, what we're gonna do is we've got the DSP connected to our PC. We're gonna go through the sound processor. We're gonna do a baseline setup. So with this, we're gonna set gains on the amplifiers, get all of our gain structure set up, from the radio to the DSP, out to our amplifiers, make sure all of our levels are set. We'll get basic crossover stuff looked at. And then when we start getting into some tuning, we'll actually look at the crossover points more specifically, start setting some time, levels, things of that nature. So, but right now, let's show you what we have regarding the amplifiers. So this is what they came out looking like. So just everything's super clean under the seats. And this stuff here, so we still don't have speakers connected, not till we actually set up the gain structure. So, but this is, our DSP Ultra from Helix. We do have a Bluetooth adapter in there. It's their HEC BT HD, if I'm not mistaken. Really cool Bluetooth interface. Lighting module. This is gonna be our 4-channel amplifier. So this is gonna run our 3s and our tweets on the pillars. And then if we come around this side here, and behind door number 2. So on this side we have this is our subwoofer amplifier here. This is gonna be our 302. And this is gonna be our other 4-channel, our 304, running in a 2-channel mode to run our mid basses. So outside of that, everything's set and ready. Again, we don't have speakers connected to it yet because we're gonna go ahead and set get the gain structure all set up now. We also have the controller out. The controller from the power supply that we have in here will actually show us the amperage we're consuming as well. So cool little tidbit while we're tuning. But yeah, let's go ahead. We're gonna do some setup in here, see what we can get for you on film, and catch up back with you shortly. So here we go. They're all in phase. All of our gain structures set up. All of our channel assignment is good. We're ready to do some tuning. So we're gonna get our microphone set up. We are gonna get the seats put back in the vehicle so that way we can actually get so we can actually get an accurate idea of where we need the microphone to be placed. At that point, we're gonna start taking some measurements and doing some tuning. So let's go ahead and get set up. We will time lapse some of it. We will talk you through some of it. It just depends how everything goes. So if all goes well, we'll see what we can get involved. But outside of that, let's get the seats back in this guy. Let's go ahead and do some tuning, man. This is the fun part. So here we go. So what we've just gone through and done, I know it's kind of hard to make out again, I apologize. What we've just gone through and done is we made sure that all of our radio is flat, everything on our DSP was set to full range, so that way we can go ahead and set the gains on the amplifiers. All the amplifier gains are set. We've got them set up to where they're peak power, no distortion. We do tune 5 dB of overlap into the mids and highs, and then we do 10 dB of overlap into the sub. It just gives us a little bit of leeway when we're tuning, and it also gives us a little bit of leeway based on the tracks that whoever's using it's going to listen to. So it's a common standard for us. But at this point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get some speakers connected. And after we get speakers connected, we should have some sound. So just wanted to catch up real quick, break that up and let you know where we were so it doesn't look like I'm just staring at the computer the whole time. And now we're going to get some speakers connected. All right, guys, so where we're at right now, everything's good to go. So we've checked polarity on the drive. I swear you guys are gonna beat me up. It was a great tuning session. I mean, for me, I didn't film any of it, but if you guys post some comments on these videos, if you want us to go in a little more in depth in any of these segments that you see, just let us know. I mean, for the most part, have you ever used a GoPro before? But it is not the easiest thing when we talk about filming every aspect of car stereo. So we try to incorporate as much as we can for you guys. And I know there's a lot of stuff I cover in these videos that I might not completely elaborate on, as I stay in my head with most of it, assuming everybody knows what's going on. If you guys have questions, man, drop them in that comment section because I will go, you know what I mean? But we can talk more in depth in the future about gain overlap. I know I kind of brushed over that quickly. We loosely talked about checking polarity on the drivers after we set the gain structures up, so we can talk about that a little further. And the tuning aspects, man, I mean, everybody wants to know about tuning. I mean, hell, we still chase tuning videos, right? I mean, you're never done learning. So as we learn new DSPs, new techniques, listening, just everything, always changes, right? So we always try to stay as vigilant as possible, staying trained on that stuff. I mean, we tinker with these, man. Even after they're tuned, I might get a wild hair and say, you know what, I think I can get a little more out of this, right? So we go through a little more of that and everything, but unfortunately where the video stops is where your journey stops. But at any rate, where we're at with this, we did our tune. This thing is jamming, man. This is a lot of fun, man. We got loads of power up in that front end, and I mean, it sounds killer. We have a great center image, it's fun, it's lively. I mean, it's a blast. So what we're gonna do, let's see if we can catch it real quick here. I better turn this down so YouTube doesn't flag me. But yeah, I'll look into as well. I know I've done it in the past, but there's some tracks that we can use so you guys can actually hear these now. Again, over YouTube, it's only gonna be so good, right? So, I mean, we can record it as best as possible, but again, it's all how it's, I mean, everybody listening to these videos, watching these videos, I mean, everybody's system's gonna be different. It just doesn't do it justice as to what it is, but try to catch in here. So we covered all this for you. To wrap up our electronics anyway, we did touch on the LEDs. So we talked about those, I think in the A-pillar video is what it was. Yeah, you guys drop some comments. We can elaborate on those a little further if necessary. I mean, they're really cool kits. This is one thing you did not see. Let's see if I can get in here at all. So, sorry. So we did build a little panel here. This is the controller for our power supply. There's a couple USBs here just for like a charging hub. And then this switch here, this is for, this engages the solenoid in the back. So if this thing's sitting on a long-term charger, like the onboard charger, it will actually connect the solenoid without having to have the ignition connected. Just little stuff to make sure we're tuning both banks of batteries, or charging both banks of batteries there. So outside of that, I'm trying to think electronic-wise, what did we cover? Amplifiers, DSP, power supply, battery. We covered a lot of it in this video for you. So we showed you guys everything in the back. That's our extra battery, our power supply, which acts as our charger, as well as our power supply for land power. So if we're in demo mode and we're jam pony on this thing, gives us our amp readout on the controller, just the whole shebang, right? So I think we covered as best we could for you guys. The cabling aspects are always a lot of fun to me, but they're always pretty dull in a video. So I do my best for you guys. But and we try to talk about the configurations a bit. If you guys want us to elaborate on that, speak. We'll do it. So I think we're gonna wrap this one up today. You guys make sure you're checking out our social media handles as well as YouTube here. So we appreciate all the support on YouTube. We do have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, just all the goodies. So we do now have, we are posting on TikTok and Instagram. We're getting you guys some quick clips of the footage we get during the week, or during the builds anyway. And every week we're posting on Instagram. You should get a corresponding Instagram and TikTok reel just to kind of tease you as to what's coming in the videos. So you guys stay with us, man. Follow these handles and support us, man. We're loving what we do, and we do it for you. So we're gonna go ahead and keep building. We're gonna wrap this one up. So again, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Notification bell top right, all notifications turned on, and you'll find out every time we post a video to YouTube. Project after this is gonna be pretty trick, man. We're getting into Project Blackout. So Project Blackout is gonna be our Chevy Malibu. This thing is a beast, man. So we'll get that one started for you here soon. And also killer Arc audio system, couple Arc amplifiers, digital signal processor, full trunk build out, which I'm due for. We've been doing a lot of A-pillars and a lot of trucks, man. So it's time to get into a trunk. So super excited about that. And yeah, man, you guys keep coming along for the ride. We'd love to have you guys, and support, man. Like I said, those social handles, and we'll catch you on the next one. Y'all stay classy.